Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Today, we're going to be breaking down estate planning for business owners into simple terms. So, think of estate planning like making a plan for what happens to everything that you own, including your business, when you are no longer around anymore. And I don't mean when you take a vacation, meaning when you have left this earth, when you have gone to the other side, when you have met the end of your time. That's what I mean. What is estate planning? Well, before we get into what this is, let me introduce myself. So, my name is Shane Harris, and around here on these social media streets, I'm also referred to as Shane the Negotiator, and I help coaches, consultants, and service providers who are overwhelmed and lack guidance to achieve true financial freedom. And I do that by providing expert tax and coaching services. So, again, today we're going to be talking about estate planning for business owners, tax strategies. So let's get into what is estate planning. So estate planning is creating a roadmap for how your belongings, like your money and your business, should be handled after you have passed away. It's about making sure your wishes are followed and your family or friends don't face any unnecessary headaches or costs, and they're not fighting over your assets. So, key parts of estate planning. Number one is wills and trusts. So, writing down who gets what. Trusts are special tools that let you set rules about how your stuff is given out. So, who gets what? Who gets the computer? Who gets the car? Who gets the dog? Stuff like that. So power of attorney. So picking someone you trust to make decisions if you can't make them yourself. So there's different types of power of attorney. There's medical power of attorney where somebody can have medical decisions on your behalf if you are no longer able to speak for yourself and things like that. And of course, there's power of attorney for your finances, as we're talking about wills and trust, who's responsible for your assets and your finances when you're alive. And then of course, after you pass away, there's power of attorneys for that as well. So many different types of power of attorneys. So then we have the third one, life insurance. So a way to ensure that your family has enough money and to get that what they need without having to sell all of your belongings or your business quickly. You need to have some type of life insurance. Okay. So again, a life insurance is a way to ensure your family has the money that they need without having to sell your belongings or your business quickly. And I restated that because this is the part that many entrepreneurs, many people, not even just entrepreneurs, many people don't want to get life insurance because they're like, it's too expensive, it's too all this. You can't afford not to have it. So people say, I can't afford it. You can't afford not to have it. Okay. Especially if you have a business. So why does it matter for your business to even have an estate or any of these things? So if you own a business, right? And estate planning also means deciding who will take over running your business or how it should be sold. So this planning helps to keep the business you build from falling apart if something happens to you. So if something happens, like I said, you pass away, you're not able to mentally run your business anymore, any of those things, you want to have contingency plans in place what happens next. Because oftentimes, as many of you are entrepreneurs and you're vibrant, you're sharp, your brain is going well, you're young, you're in your 40s, you're in your 30s, you're in your 50s, you're young, and you thinking you have forever and a decade to go and some, and you don't want to think about these things, but death doesn't have an age limit. At any age, something can happen, and then you're no longer here anymore. So these are conversations that you want to sit down and speak with a professional about so that you can start listening to the bullet. There's pros and cons to everything, but there's more pros to having an estate planning set up and to have these things set up than there are cons. Okay. So many times you don't want to think about this, but this is very important for you, especially if you're starting to get up there in age. What comes next? You have to consider what comes next when I no longer want to be the face of my business, when I no longer want to run my business anymore. What happens next? Okay. So, a real life example. So, let's talk about Alex, who started a web designer company. So, he used a trust to make sure his business would smoothly go to his partner, and his savings would support his kids while he's keeping his taxes low, of course. So that's one case study and one example. So choosing the next leader. So part of this planning is going to be deciding who will be the one that's going to lead your business next. Without your guidance, it's going to be important to have a plan in place that keeps the business running smoothly with the right person in charge. So you want to decide if you are no longer capable of running your business anymore and you're still alive, or even if you are no longer here, you have passed away, what happens to my business? I bet you 9 times out of 10, you guys are not considering what's going to happen. Or even if you consider it, it was just a passing thought. And you're like, I'll deal with that when that time comes. Well, the time can come to tomorrow. The time can come next week. The time can come a month from now. The time can come in an hour. You never know when that time comes. So please do not disregard this topic. Don't ignore this conversation, because this is something that you want to be speaking about with your loved ones, with your lawyer, with your tax professional, whomever you have in charge, and with your legal team, to start putting this plan in place, because you never know what can happen and you want to be prepared. Okay? Now let's talk about giving a little something, something away. So one strategy is to start by giving some of your business shares or money to your family or charity. Do that, and you want to do that like now. This can lower your taxes and make sure your wishes are followed. So when you get to that place where you're starting to slow down in your business because you're getting older, or you don't even have to be older, you're younger, you're young right now, but you're like, you know what, I don't want to work in my business as much anymore, so I want to start implementing some of these things. So you can start potentially giving some of your shares away. Now, shares is only if you have, corporation. Of course, when you started setting up estates and things like that, then we're going to be talking about shares and things like that. So let's say right now you're 100% shareholder because you have an S corporation or a C corporation, and you may decide that you want to give your children some shares. So you might want to give 60% of the shares to your children. Something happens to you, they are in the controlling power, and they can make most of the decisions on what's going to happen. So you can start giving shares away that way, or you can give it away to the church. You can give it away to charity, whomever you want to give it away, because oftentimes, with the way things are going right now, where people are working on themselves and self-care and healing and things like that, it's not looking too good for the baby boomers, which the generation after that, in terms of disconnecting from them. So a lot of the times, we're not really fooling with our parents like that. So if we end up going before our parents, we may not want to be leaving any assets to our parents if they were not so much of a good fit. And you may have other relatives that may not be a good fit for you, want to give any of your assets to. Then you may have to figure out what's going to happen at that point. You're going to give it to charity. It's just going to be sitting in limbo for the state to do whatever it wants, for it to be tied up in probate. You don't want to have to deal with any of that. So you want to figure these things out right now, so that when that time comes, it's not a whole lot of confusion at it, as it happens all day, every day with so many people. Okay. So talk to the expert, as I said. So this stuff can get pretty complicated. It's smart to talk to the experts, like your tax advisor and your lawyers. They can help you to make the plan help you to make sure your plan does what you want, and it's followed, and that the rules are being followed. So exactly what it is that you want to happen from A to Z, you want to list this out, so that when you're no longer here anymore, or if you're not mentally in the place where you can make these decisions, this decision was already done when you were in your sound mind and body. So don't ignore this. And I can't stress this enough, and I keep saying it. Don't just listen to this and pass it by and say, I'll deal with that later, because you never know. Later can be tonight. Okay. And then now it has not been dealt with, and your assets is tied up in probate because you didn't do what's necessary. Okay. So, in conclusion, this was a very short and sweet, because it's straight to the point. Making a plan for after you're gone isn't just for you. It's not just for you. It's to make life easier for the people that you care about, and to protect the business that you have worked so hard for. Okay, so what's next? So join me as the next time when we will get into tax strategies for online content creators, as many of us are online content creators, especially if you're a coach, consultant or service provider. We're out here on social media, we're on Facebook, IG, we're on TikTok, we're on LinkedIn, we're on all over the place. And so I'm going to be talking about tax strategies for online content creators. We'll keep it simple, focusing on the tips to manage taxes for those earning money online. So we're going to be saying goodbye for right now. So thank you for tuning in to the Simplified Estate Planning. If this was helpful, please share with others that who you think this may benefit, even if it don't benefit you, which this benefits everybody. If you are a business owner, this benefits you also. So please share it with someone else. Even if you don't find value in it, somebody else will. And here is my link that's available if you need any assistance or you need any resources to point you into the right direction with estate planning. bit.ly/SD negotiator, and I can assist you with pointing you in the right direction, and also taking care of your financial for your business. So again, like, share, subscribe. Come on over here to the YouTube family if you're not here on Facebook, IG, and every place else. Go ahead and like, put a heart on it, share it with your people so that everybody can see this as well. So I'll see you in our next video. We're all continuing to make tax and financial planning understandable. So goodbye for now, and until I see you next time.